Hey everybody, Swish here, and gonna do a real quick video on explaining, in my opinion, the most important two pieces of survival tools that will get you out of a situation. In my opinion, they're the most important that not a whole lot of people talk about. So stick with me. All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with me, and gonna talk really quick about, in my opinion, the most important survival tools, two of them, that should go in your kit. Most people in their kits only have one of these tools. And I really wanted to address it because I know that survival kits, on at least on this platform, YouTube, get a lot of clicks, likes. I've seen some ridiculous survival kits out there with all this stuff packed in it. And a lot of it's good. Don't get me wrong, a lot of it's good, right? Things that you might need. I totally understand that. But some of them are so gimmicky. I've seen, you know, someone did one in a animal crackers empty container and said, throw that in your kit. In my opinion, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have a survival kit that you throw in your pack. Because your pack should already have everything you need to survive. And in a last ditch situation, or like, what if something happens to you, you need that kit. Well, what other situation other than you lost that pack, which means you've lost that kit? So how does that help you? First and foremost, I think that if you're going to have last ditch survival items on you, they should be on your person, in your pockets. So if you lose your pack, you have the things that you need to survive, to affect survival. Basically, survival is don't die. And too often, our survival kits are packed with things that aren't survival kits or for survival. They're comfort items. Okay, hate to break it to you. Having hand warmers in your survival kit is a comfort item. It's not a survival item. Okay, it's not. You know, I've seen some people where they just have ferro rods and no Bic lighter. I mean, it's about to be 2026. It's right now. It's the 31st of December. Literally tomorrow's 2026. At least at the time of this video. And if you actually look at the history between ferro rods and lighters, the lighter actually came out first. The ferrocerium rod came out afterwards. You can Google it. What came first, the lighter or the ferro rod? So the lighter is actually more primitive if you really think about it, and it's guaranteed flame. You know, the only thing you're guaranteed with a ferro rod is sparks. That's it. Not saying you shouldn't have that. Yeah, I have them. I like using ferrocerium rods, but you know, in a situation where I need to light a fire real quick, I'm gonna have a lighter. Okay, I always have one in my pocket. See if I can dig it out. Right here. This is my survival kit in a pocket. I'm showing you this, and then I'll get to the one that I carry that I believe is the most important. There's my lighter with some duct tape, flame extender. You guys have seen this in a lot of people's videos. All right, and then always carrying Swiss Army knife on me, or a Leatherman, you know, whichever you prefer. In the woods, I like more of an SAK than a Leatherman. In an urban environment, might take the Leatherman, or I might take both because they're so light. This thing fits in my pocket. I also have a folding knife, and this is one that my daughter got me, and she got me this for Christmas, so I'm kind of boasting, um, and it's not the perfect knife, but I really like it. It's sharp, and it does the job, and I'm carrying it because she got it for me, and I love her. I have three daughters, by the way, and one son. Um, and, of course, I have a belt knife on me. Condor pterosaur. Been carrying this around. Really love it. By the way, the Swiss Army knife has a saw on it. So all those things that I need to, in this environment, keep myself warm. I do have a canteen that's actually in my van. I'm literally half a mile away. I just kind of came out to this spot to shoot this video really quick, and then I'm heading back. So full disclosure, we were camping at another spot, and I came out here to do this because this is a solo one. My buddies were on the other, were with me, and we were hanging out. But those are the things, and a canteen. I'll usually just have it strapped to me wherever I'm going, so I can have a water source with a way to purify it if I need to, or a stainless steel canteen to at least boil to do that. And that's it on my person as far as those items go. Maybe a space blanket, just to have in my pocket if I need it. You know, depends on the situation. But yeah, I'll take a space blanket if I need to. It's on my person, you know. But here's the two items, and I saved the best for last for everyone, that, in my opinion, are the most important. Because if you're in a survival situation, you don't want to stay there. You don't want to. You want to get out. You want to get yourself out of Dodge. And the first one, and I believe you should always have these on your person, not in your kit, nothing like that. The first one is blatantly obvious. A compass. Yes, you've seen these in all these survival kits. I always have my compass on my person, on me. So if I were to lose my pack, I have this. Okay, I even have the Garmin Instinct 3 Tactical, which has a compass and GPS and all that stuff. That's all good and great and grand. But a compass is always on my person, in my pocket. And right here, this is something I never see in all these survival kits. Almost never. There's two guys who I've seen in videos so far. That's Tom at Prepared Pathfinder and Bill Stoker at Stoker-Matic. He's real big on this. Is a map. And this is a map of where I'm at, Salamone. If you guys watch my videos, you know I love to come out here a lot. And by the way, I understand if you've gone to an area a lot and you know the area like the back of your hand, you might not need a map. I get it. Like, oh, I go here all the time. I know the area. Okay, great. So, but here it is. This is a DNR map of where I was at. This was the campsite I was at, Site 5, yesterday. Okay? So if something were to happen to me, I can use this map and I can get out of Dodge. I can get out of there, right? If I get disoriented. If I decide to break trail for whatever reason and I'm just kind of in the woods, there's no trail around me, I would be able to find a trail. I could terrain associate, head north, and as soon as I got on the trail, you know, orient my map with my compass, and I could get the heck out of there. Okay, that goes for anything. When I went to the Crazy Mountains, I had a map and a compass because I had never been there before. Strange area. You better believe I'm taking a map. Okay, I don't know the area. And the other thing is to have a plan. My wife knows if I don't get a hold of her today by about 5 o'clock, she's going to start making some phone calls. She knows where I'm at. Guys, this is the blatant truth. If I'm in a survival situation out here, I am not going to be building shelters, setting snares, going fishing. I'm going to be moving. I'm going to be getting the heck home if I can. I understand if you get an injury or something like that, totally get it. You can't move, depending on what it is, and you might have to stay in place. Or if you're on a desert island where you can't get somewhere because you don't have a boat, yeah, you got to stay in prolong. There's a difference between surviving and thriving. And most of these survival kits that I see, in my opinion, they're thriving kits. That's fine. You want to stay out there for days and days and days, and I understand it might take you days to get where you have to go. Totally get that. But I would argue this, depending on the situation, I'm going to get as little sleep as I can, just enough to keep me going. All right, I'm not going to take a bunch of time setting up a freaking shelter unless I absolutely need to, if it's raining or something like that, you know, whatever the case may be. That's the other thing. Look at the weather forecast before you go anywhere. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be moving as much as I can, if I can. And I'll use those other items if I need to, you know. but we're talking about just not dying. We're not talking about living comfortably, spearing fish in the lagoon, and doing all this, setting out snares everywhere, which is interesting because I see these survival kits. There's one snare in the survival kit. Anyone who's ever done any trapping knows one snare ain't going to do nothing. You have to set a bunch of them. That's besides the point. But I get it. Survival kits get clicks and likes. I know because I've done some. You've seen my bottle bag survival kit. If you've watched this channel for a while. And I'm thinking, these videos I did were stupid. The survival kit in a dry bag. I look back and think, that was such a stupid video. I didn't, it's just the same stuff everyone else is doing. But they get 13,000 views. And I kind of noticed that, oh, that does. But when I do overnights, when I do other things, or even maybe a video like this, people don't want the truth. They want to be entertained. Totally understand that. But if you're serious about this, have your survival kit on your person, distributed in your pockets. Have a map. Have a compass. You can have all the other stuff, the GPS technology. I'm not against that. But at the end of the day, especially in this weather, batteries die. When I did the SEER challenge in 2023, it got cold that night, and all our batteries died on our GPSs. All of them. We had to use our watch. Tom had to use his watch. When we were doing the first night on the OP, killed our batteries. When I went back and did SEER, this last one, SEER 5, I had a map and I used that. I was like, yep, here we are. Because it was pissing rain. I didn't want to get my electronics out too much. The partner with me, he was using the phone, and we were kind of, I was using the map and he was using his phone, the technology. But maps, you can still get maps everywhere. Gas stations still sell them, especially the touristy ones. And there are so many apps, guys. Here's all the apps that I have. There's MyTopo, there's Rigid, there's freaking Base Map, which is another good one. All these apps that you can get, that you can load up maps and print it off. And I suggest you do that if you don't know where you're going. MyTopo is a perfect good. You can get a spot where you want, and you pay them a little bit of money, like $20 or something, I don't know. And they send you a map, and you have a map on you. And make sure you waterproof the map if you want to laminate it, which is good because you can use dry erase markers or semi-permanent markers. But why is nobody putting a map in their kit? Great, you have a compass. Good. You can know how to north, east, south, and west. Awesome. Good for you. I think the map might be able to help you get out of that situation sooner. Because if you have a compass, guess what? And that's it. You're gonna head for what is the most likely area, which might be a body of water, or something like that, or a key terrain feature. And then you got to follow that. But if you had a map, you can orient your map to your compass and go, okay, I'm gonna head that way. And if you have your map, you're probably not going to get lost at all. Because the second you come into a fork or something like that, pull out your map. Where am I? Oh, right here. I need to go this way. Don't need to get into my survival kit. Don't need to get into that stuff. And yes, I get it. You should have that stuff. So, I've rambled on. Sorry if I've bored everybody. But there it is, the two items that I think everybody should carry with them, aside from things, other things that I carry on my person. Notice I don't have a pack on because I'm just close to my vehicle. But even so, this trail loop is like 2 miles, 3 miles. I'm not taking a pack on this one. I'm just taking what I have in my pockets. And I have cell phone service here. So, it all depends on what you need. I'm tired of playing the what if and in case, because survival is also about being about improvising. So yeah, go watch all the people who do survival kit videos where they stuff a bunch of crap in the bag and go, here you go, now you can go out and survive, which is a lie because you still need the skill. Those tools are nothing without the skill. Even this map and this compass is nothing without the skill of doing land navigation. If I didn't know how to do land navigation, well, I'm done. I'm dead. Or I'm gonna have to do the other thing and bust out my animal cracker survival kit in my bag that I lost because I was doing something stupid that I shouldn't have been doing. You know. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I'm going to say today. So, see you guys next time on the next video. Swish out.